appears that I'm live. Hello, everybody. It's October 7th. This is my regular Tuesday stream. Am I on time? Yeah. Today I started exactly at 4 o'clock, just like I promised. I hope the sound is fine. Well, it's a rainy day today. It's a very rainy day. It was pouring like crazy since about 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's why I'm sitting in a closed garage today, because the weather is just really, really crappy. I woke up first at like 7 o'clock in the morning and then at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was just pouring. And it kept pouring and raining, and there was a flood warning, and it just continues to pour and rain. And I guess it's gonna be going on for a while now, probably well into the night. Frankly, down here in Kentucky, Montgomery County, I don't think we had a rain for about 4 or 5 weeks. There was just no rains at all. There was a little sprinkle, a little shower about 3 weeks ago. Then it was all sunny, even hot in October and throughout September, but there wasn't a single rain. And I was kind of getting used to it, I guess. Now today, all of a sudden, just bam, there you go. And it's probably going to get colder. And I'm not exactly looking forward to this because I'm not a fan of cold, really. But, you know, after all, summer is fading and it's going to get colder eventually. You know how things are in this world. If you've lived on this planet for a while, you would have figured this out at some point in life. There is summer, then there is fall, and then there is winter. I just happen not to be a huge fan of winter, really, even though I come from the great city of Moscow, back in Russia. Not a fan of winter at all. And when I move from here, I want to move to Greece, which is going to be in the same climate zone, roughly. Hey, hello. Whoever joined, there are 2 people I see there. How are y'all doing? Like I was saying before, I'm having a very rainy day today, so I'm sitting here, I've closed the garage, and I'm just sitting here and having my regular Tuesday chit-chat live stream. Just said a rather wordy introduction to the live stream. I made a post earlier, yesterday I believe, or last night, where I said, bring on some questions. Ask me some questions, guys. This is in part why I'm having this Tuesday stream, is because this is an opportunity for y'all to reach out and, you know, ask me questions, whatever you want to ask. And, you know, everything that I can answer, I will answer, you know, so long as it's okay with YouTube. Because there are some topics that I can't talk about. I wish I could, but I can't. 7 people are watching. Introduce yourself, guys. Who are you? And 1 like. Thank you. Whoever left me a like, thank you very much. Later today, I'm just going to work on an article, which will drop tomorrow. I'm going to be writing for my WordPress blog, the continuation of the Sun City story. And by the way, if you haven't read the Sun City story so far, check it out. Just go to my community tab and I have all the links there to my paintings and to my articles as well. And seriously, guys, I invite you to go and check it out because I'm going to make this into a book. And I'm currently releasing singles from the Sun City album. And so there is a story underneath all of this. It's not just a random collection of songs, you know, there's a story. and I want you all to check it out. So I'm going to be working on another article today. And something tells me that it's going to be, that the rain outside is going to be rather conducive to my writing. I kind of think I start to relate to writers. You know, the cliche about that writers have to drink cognac all the time to write books. I don't know if that is true. I don't think I want to drink cognac. Oh, hi, Kat. Hope your day is going well, Mr. And hello. I'm glad to see you in my chat. Well, like I was saying in the very beginning, it's very rainy. And this is the first rain that we're having here in like 5 or 6 weeks. It started raining in the middle of the night, and it just keeps going and going and going. And something tells me that all of this sunny, beautiful, warm weather is just gone. At this point, probably this is it, the end of summer. Oh, you're in Pennsylvania, and you still have that drought going on. We had this going on down here in Montgomery County, Kentucky. We had it going on for like 5 or 6 weeks. I don't know. Pretty much the end of it. Yep, the end of it. Some part of me is like, well, I guess this is good that there's finally some rain. It's good for the soil and for the environment. But another part of me is like, damn it, I'm so not looking forward to winter. I so don't like winters, really. It's going to get cold again, and, you know, not a fan. But also down here, winters are weird. Like sometimes you might have some snow, actually, you know, and kind of like a real winter, when I can put on my winter boots and I can put on my fur coat, which, by the way, has panda ears on it, and actually enjoy some snow. That's like real winter. But most of the time in my 6 years of residence here, you have this kind of crap when it's just kind of raining and then it's on and off and everything is mushy and it's sort of cold, but it's not completely cold. So it's, or there is sleet, something like this. It's just bleh. Stoked for the cooler weather. The leaves changing is my favorite part. I don't like the dead of winter, but the cold doesn't bother me. Well, lucky you, I gotta say. Lucky you. I have frostbitten hands and frostbitten feet, and a frostbitten face as well. And I have frostbitten all of that back in Russia. So I kind of have a heightened sensitivity to frost and to cold weather. It just kind of gets into my bones, you know. Other than that, I think winter is beautiful when it's actual winter, when there is snow. Hello, Patience. Hello, Patience. Nice to meet you. Glad you're here. Oh, but you know, this fall, I'm not falling into my regular yearly depression, because I got to say that for most part of my life, when I would go into fall, depression would always creep in. This part of winter motorcycle riding is I don't have to deal with bugs, lol. You're doing motorcycle riding in winter. Well, I guess this is like assuming that you don't have like sleet and snow all over the place, right? Just guessing. But yeah, no bugs. That's a great feature, because right now, while it was still warm, we had a lot of stink bugs here, and I just hate these guys. I really hate these guys. Yeah, I hate how winter makes everything uglier except for when it snows. Yeah, exactly. I stay inside when it snows and sleets. Yeah. Oh, I was talking about depression. I was talking about seasonal depression. Somehow last year I've avoided it because I had something to do. And this year I think I'm going to completely avoid depression altogether, because I just have my hands so full and I have so much to do, painting wise and storytelling wise. And, you know, I have a whole lot of things to work on. So something tells me I'll just go really deep into working on things and I just won't have time to sulk, which is good. Staying inside has gotten to me. I'm going to try to go to Cherry Springs State Park here soon in Pennsylvania. Best night skies on the East Coast. I work entirely from home in IT. How does it feel? I mean, how are you taking it working entirely from home? Because I know that some people go nuts over this. And I myself am sort of divided on working at home because essentially, historically, ever since I entered my adult life, and because I'm freelancing my whole life, I've been working out of home for like more than a decade. And so sometimes the way I feel about it is it sucks because I have to, I have to self-discipline in order to get things done, But another part of me feels like, well, that's actually not bad. I don't have to go and show up at an office or something like this. I worked at an office back in the year 2004 when I was an art director for a magazine. I love it. Honestly, I do kind of miss the connection with others and trying to get out. I want to freelance, develop games too, so that I can travel more. Hey, Patrick. Hello. Hi. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. I see. Well, I hear you on this one about working out at home. It's, I think one of the big challenges is separating work and home, because I got to be honest, throughout my entire adult life, I don't feel like home anywhere at all. And I suspect that maybe part of it, a big reason why this is happening, is because I'm working out at home all of my life. I don't know what it's like to just, live somewhere, feel like that's home, and that's it. I just don't understand this. Don't have the mentality for it. But my mom was that same way ever since I had my 3 siblings when I was a little kid. She was allowed, and that was like way back in the late 80s, back in the then USSR. She was allowed by her employer, she was working for an animation studio, she was allowed to work from home because now she was considered by the state to be what they call a multi-kid family back then in the USSR. So she could work from home. And that's what I saw growing up, is my mom, who is, either out shopping, taking me shopping, or she's just endlessly sitting at that table, at that desk and working. I found a metal bar that I want to go to more often and hopefully go to concerts, connect with more people, go out and travel more. I think it's necessary, really, and absolutely do it. Otherwise, I know everybody's different, but I think otherwise it's very challenging. Very, very challenging. How are you doing, Patrick? How is it in Germany? What's going on? What else did I want to say? Something about home and other people. Here I don't have the freedom to go and see people, unfortunately, because I'm not living in a city. And I want to change this in the future. I want to have my space where I can seclude and do my art stuff and work and all this, but I also want to have the liberty and the freedom to go out there into the city and actually engage with people. I miss it big time. It's all a matter of personality, whether you can be alone or whether you always need people around you, introverted or extroverted. Even introverts are good with people, but they need time alone. One of the things I love about riding motorcycles and scooters is that it acts as an automatic icebreaker. People just approach all the time and start conversations. Oh yeah, I prefer isolation, but even I get a little lonely. I like people in short, fun bursts. Yeah, I think I can relate to this. I don't know, it's kind of difficult for me to judge because I historically come from like a really huge city and from the very center of it. So it's kind of like I'm used to the idea that you have to go shopping on foot, not in a car, but on foot or using public transport. But for the most part, on foot, and everything is like within reach. Because I grew up in the very center of a big city. You know, you have the bakery right around the corner. You have another bakery down the boulevard. You know, you got meats over there. You got a supermarket here. You got a fair over there. You know, and all of it is so dense, and there's so many people. You go to school. You go along the boulevard, and you just inevitably see a crowd of people every day, every day, every day. And you know, as a kid, when I was a kid, it felt very overwhelming, I think, and I felt kind of awkward. But then, you know, that was kind of the norm. So I got to say that where I am nowadays for these 6 years, it feels weird. It still feels weird. Not a city kind of person, but I don't mind visiting them. Well, good for you. Let's see, everybody's different. So I think because you're not a city person, to you, isolation means one thing. And to me, because I am from a big city, isolation means a different thing. And so, you know what I mean? But that's just how it is. I think my ideal place would be to live somewhere on the outskirts of Athens, probably. And then when I feel like it, to be able to have access via public transport or scooter to the city. Because I mean, in my mind, this is where stuff actually happens. All sorts of stuff. But that's me. Some people, I don't know, it's just people are different. Some people are absolutely comfortable living in the middle of nowhere, and you know, it's not for everybody, I guess. Hike a lot and get out into nature. My dream is definitely a quiet place in the woods, but I want to travel more. I just want the freedom to travel, camp everywhere. Well, it's good to have that freedom. And to each their own. To each their own, I guess. Do you have like a dream place where you want to live? Your like perfect place? Anything? I definitely want to have the freedom to travel. I would go so far as to, I would like to be in the Mediterranean and have a boat of my own so that I can just, you know, cruise around the Mediterranean and, you know, all along the coast, the African coast and the Spanish coast and the French coast and, you know, all over the place. Take me half an hour from Cologne, but in the village with forests and hills all around. Why isn't that beautiful? I mean, in my mind, this is perfect. Patrick, do you have a lot of forests left in Germany? I'm just asking out of curiosity because the other day I was watching a documentary, one of those documentaries on YouTube about the times of Rome, and when there was a whole Roman legion that got lost in the vast Germanic forests back in the day, and that Roman legion basically got slaughtered by Germans, back then. So, as far as I remember, historically, Germany had a lot of forests. And just out of curiosity, do you still have a lot of forests there in Germany, or it's not the case anymore? It depends. A part of me kind of wants it to be near Anchorage, Alaska, or one of the other areas. I see you really love winter or the cold. I don't know. The snow is kind of what makes me cautious of that. I might go for Maine in the woods. Maine gets a lot of snow, but I think they would be better connected to greater society, unlike Alaska. Well, Maine, after all, is mainland America, so I don't know. That's probably a better bet if that's what you're looking for. Alaska, I feel like I'm, like I like to say nowadays, I'm a spoiled Muscovite, but I'm also a spoiled kind of Southern, I guess, person, just because I'm like listening to you and you want to live in those places. And to me, it's like, no. But that's the beauty of talking to different people, because that's your kind of perfect place. And it's a whole different perspective, Shipping is a big issue in Alaska. Plus, getting mail is difficult. Oh, yeah. I read about this somewhere. I had one of these days, when I wake up and I do my socials with my coffee, I occasionally go off on some random thoughts. So I kind of dove a little bit into what is it like to actually live in Alaska if you're an American and you live in Alaska. And yeah, there was something about shipping and getting mail, and it's kind of a set of its own challenges, let's say. And the first time I came across the state of Maine was through the TV show Supernatural. I don't know if any of y'all's watched Supernatural, with Dean Winchester and Sam Winchester, the two brothers, hunting things, this kind of thing. So the first time I came across Maine was in the TV show Supernatural. And then I was like, it looks like there is really a lot of wilderness there. Let me research this. And so that was way back in Russia, I think in the year 2016. So I remember myself gazing at the map, at Google Earth, and trying to find out, like, what is there in Maine? And why would anybody live there? Gosh, it was almost 10 years ago. Time flies. Meanwhile, again, yes, some trees were cut down over, let me see. Cut down over the centuries as war reparations, but they're growing back. It's not as dense as in Scandinavia, but there are some nature reserves right here. That's cool. I love southern climates, but there are a lot of issues, political, climate, and otherwise. It's kind of where everyone wants to be, and that's my issue. I've debated Western North Carolina as well. Well, you actually have a point. Southern areas are at a much higher climate risk. I would have to be in the mountains. Yeah, more forest at least now than in Roman times. Well, that's good. Well, also back in the day, the Romans and other civilizations too, they were cutting down trees big time all over the place because they were building ships and forts and all sorts of things.